In this video, we're going to talk about the legal description for the overall parcel. Now, we have the parcel segments labeled. Now, depending on how we want to write the legal description, how this is going to read. So we may end up creating, if you don't have this polyline already created for your boundary, go ahead and do a polyline and have it be closed. So you're going to hit these concrete monuments or iron pins to the corners and close back on itself. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a second site. So I'm going to click on Sites and I'm going to go New. And I'm going to say Project, so overall project, for a legal description on the overall project area. And you can have the rest of this information is going to be default, so I'm going to apply and OK. Now with that, what I'm going to do is go to the Home tab underneath Parcels, create parcel from objects, and since I was already selecting that polyline, it automatically knows that's the one that I want to use as my parcel segment. Now I'm going to go ahead and say basic, and I'm going to end up turning that information off. But I'm going to go ahead and label it parcel name, basic style. Go ahead and automatically add segment labels just to show you the parcel segments if I hadn't have previously labeled them. So then I'm going to say OK. So on that, we have a parcel segment that looks like this. And if I pull leader line, I'm not going to snap that. Since it was already labeled, it just relabeled itself. Okay, so nothing additional was labeled. The only thing is notice that this is saying North 47, North 0 degrees, 47 minutes, 35.24 seconds with 336.77 feet. That's going this direction. So basically the way this is being read counterclockwise or clockwise, because this is going south, north, south, and then this one's going north. Now the reason that this is going the directions that it is because of how the polyline was drawn. Now, when I create the legal description, I want the legal description to match the labeling for the parcel segments. So if I drew a straight line, a polyline, and I O-snap that, basically, I'm turning F8, my ortho on. I can see that this is going in the, if this was 0, 0, it's going in the north, the north west, or snap, northeast direction. And if I'm going to change that color just so it's a little bit easier to see. We'll call it magenta. And if I drew a polyline and I snapped to the end point here and went out this direction, you could see that it's going in the south direction also. So what I'm looking at is from here to here it's going south, and from here to here it's going north. But if I was going to be reading this, I would be reading it either clockwise or counterclockwise. All right. So I may want to, if I start with a specific point, if I'm going to start my legal description, let's say I started up here, I'm going to read it counterclockwise, just as an option. So this first one is going south. And that is fine. If I look at the polyline, I'm going to turn my O snap. Okay, yep. From here out this direction, I can see that that's not true. It's actually going northwest. So I want to click on this one, and I am going to reverse the labeling. Okay, so now it's saying it's going northwest. So I go ahead and delete the line that I created. And that line's fine. And then from here, I want to know if this is going in the right direction. So I know that's not, because it's going south from that point. So I'm going to go ahead and reverse that and say true. And then on this one, I have to redraw that line because I completely just forgot if it was, it's going south, so that one's correct. And this one is going north, and I've just got to see if so it's going northeast. So when I read this, I'm going to create a point of beginning up here. It's going to go northwest, then it's going to go southwest, and then it's going to read southeast, and then it's going to read northeast to close back on itself. All right? So to create a legal description, we're going to go to our toolbox. So if your toolbox bar isn't showing up, you can click this button. Notice the toolbox is gone. I'm going to click the toolbox again to get it back. And underneath the reports manager, I'm going to click on the parcels, and I'm going to use the general legal description for the parcels. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to right click and execute. Now I'm going to uncheck, I'm going to get everything unchecked by using this button here. Now I'm going to scroll down, and I am going to find my site and my overall site, and I'm just going to check the basic one. And then I'm going to click OK. Now, when I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, because for whatever reason I can't get this to collapse. I think there's an issue with my 2016 version of this Civil 3D. So I'm highlighting all of this, and I'm going to go Control C for copy. And I am going to come over to my area here, back to my site plan. I'm going to go Control V for paste. Now, the way that it reads, it's saying south 00 degrees, 47 minutes. So it's actually reading a description on the, so the very first one is going a distance of 497. 497 being 496, got to be, this one's got to be, I'm sorry, I misread. Yeah, 497. 490. That's 480. 496. All right, so I shouldn't have flipped this. Basically what the first line is saying, that from the point of beginning, which is actually up here, it's going south 0 degrees, 47 minutes, 35 seconds. So here is north 47 degrees, 35 minutes, and 24 seconds. Well, I misread that. (04735). Yeah, I read it right. 04735. But this one says north, so I'm going to flip this one back again. So I just click on it, and just I had to escape because I apparently had multiple things clicked. And I'm going to go ahead and say true. So it's going south 47, but notice that it says 3677, and this one says 497. The reason that it's saying that is because there is a secondary piece. Here's the 497. The 46, the 336 is to this line here. So I'm going to have to end up relabeling this one. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And I am going to add a label to the parcel and a single segment. So when I do that, make sure that it is this line here. So it says north, so I'm just going to slide this down. It says north, and I don't want north, so I'm going to reverse the label and say true and make it say south to match my legal description. So it's going counterclockwise starting up at this corner. The next thing it says that it's going north 89, 42, 35. So 89, 42, 35 at 40 feet. Now, that's going to be this little segment here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. That one is 478. So let's see if that's the next line. Nope. So I need to go ahead and delete that one. Apparently, it's only labeling portions of the segment. So I'm going to go back to the add labels, and I'm going to do a single segment. and I'm going to add this one right here. So I'm going to pull this out so I can read it. I'm going to turn my ortho off out here. So that's the South 42, and this one says it's north. So I am going to click on the label, and I'm going to reverse. So true. Now I need to go ahead, and I'm going to do this all the way around. And it's probably going to be having to flip each time. Single segment, and I'll click on the line. And I'm going to slide this over. I'm going to click on these. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to click on these labels to flip them to the inside. So I'm going to flip these to the inside, and I'm going to flip this one to the outside. Okay, and now it says South 8950 South. Now, so I have to reverse the label. So I'm going to say reverse, and I'm going to say true. All right, now I'm going to, it says South 033, so this one is North 33 at 496. And that one is 496. So this one just needs to be flipped. So that one's fine. So I'm going to reverse it and say false. So it says north, like the legal description. The next one says North 8950, and the legal description says South 89. Now, so this one's actually using the straight line. So I'm going to delete that. And I have to add the label for the parcel back for the single segment. Here, I need to flip it so it's on the opposite side, and it says north here and it says south up here, so I'm going to flip this one, reverse, so it says South 89, and the distance is 437.5, and the last one is this little bitty piece right here, so I've got to label it also. So I'm going to delete that out of the way. And I'm going to add parcel single segment, and I'm going to add this one right here. I am going to flip it to the other side, and I am going to reverse it and say true. Okay, so, and I can also pull this just down a little bit so when I read it, actually, there we go. I slid too far past, so it's got to be within these 2 points here. There we go. Now, so that's my legal description. And where it says from the point of beginning, we would change that from the B. We would take out the B and say from the northeast 4x4 concrete monument, which is our point of beginning. And then I'm going to delete this out. Hence, because my computer has issues with the legal description when I was doing it over here, I should have been able to write a point of beginning and add that, append the report, but for whatever reason, it's not allowing me. So I could write northwest corner. I should be able to append the report, but it's not actually putting that there for me. So that's why I'm writing it in now. So I'm going to go back to my AutoCAD, and I'm going to say, I misspelled monument, so fix monument. From the northeast 4x4 concrete northeast corner at the 4x4 concrete monument dash point of beginning. Okay, and to the, and I'm just going to delete the B, point of beginning. Okay, now I'm going to take this information and I am going to go Control X. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to put it on the cover here, and I'm going to go Control V to paste it back. Now I need to change the text height, and I'm going to change that height to 0.125, and I'm going to move this down. This is in general meets and bounds. You will need your the licensed surveyor to rewrite this description. Usually when you're doing the point of beginning, you're actually coming off of a section line or a section corner or a quarter corner or something like that, and not just a generic concrete monument. It would actually have a, you know, from the section township range of section by section if you're looking at the legal description. So I've took a look at the original example plan that we have for the legal description. So this is what it should usually look like. The description is the ordinance book ordinance book 3172, page 0944, and then it starts to tell you beginning at 30 feet off the corner of the southwest corner. Beginning 30 feet north of the southwest corner of Lot 1 of Stewart Homestead Subdivision as recorded in Miscellaneous Book 3, page 398, Public Records of Ord County. It gives the description on of how the property is going to be described. Now, our project is actually on, if I look at this, we're on the east side of this property. So here's the little site. We're actually over to the east side. But it has previously been recorded in the OR book 3172. So I went to the property appraiser's website and I typed in our address with our parcel ID number information, and it gives me a description. It's a of the subdivision Stewart Homestead miscellaneous, and then this is the OR page book information. So I could go and I could view the plat, but notice that it tells you that you're starting off the southwest corner of section township and range 022128, and it runs north 828 feet to the point of beginning of the property. Then it goes north 497.02 feet, turns east. Now this is a generic legal description, and it also gives me the total area of the land, the 5.46 acres. You could also click on View Plat and take a look at the website for the plat information. And I can click on View Images, and it should bring me down the legal description of that piece of property, how it was originally written. So this is the information of that original legal description of that of our project area. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my project, and I'm going to come here, and but I'm just going to go ahead and leave it like this because I'm not going to write it in the legal description as is. The other thing that it should have been given, let me go back to Votah Road, is I could highlight this and copy it as a legal description, but this is not enough information for our legal description. If I look at this, it's giving the information of miscellaneous book 3, page number 398. So if I went to Votah, so this is what it's saying, miscellaneous book 3, page number, and it goes back and describes how these lots are broken down. So this is a very old legal description, so that you can see it. This is, if you can see this, it says 1879 was what the subdivision of the Stewart Homestead, and how they're rewriting this. And it says, see resolution for the County Commissioner's record in the OR book 2105, page 916, dated 1971, and then has the replatting of it. So we've got this information here, and we can look to see if there's any additional information on it And there's no additional information, just says book and page number and when it was recorded. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and leave our legal description as is, as generic as it is. I'm going to go ahead and change the text. I'm going to double click, right click, and I'm going to do change case to uppercase so it looks a little nicer. And I'm going to go ahead and got to zoom out on this and see if I can get. All right, see how long this is? The computer has a glitch in it, so I'm just going to hit return here. And I'm going to double click that and I'm going to copy the text, control copy, and I'm going to control paste here because what's happening is I'm getting too far of, oh, there it is. I wanted to pull this back so it would come out a little bit easier for me to move. So I just didn't go far enough. All right, so I'll go ahead and delete that. The other thing is I may change the text height 0.1 and go ahead and squish this in a bit. I gotta turn my O snaps off and move this over. So this is just a generic. Technically, I would copy the information here, control copy, and I'm going to take it back to my, and I'll go control paste, control V, put that here, and I could use that as a legal description if I wanted. Move this here, and I'm going to move this down. And I would go ahead, as the example here shows, I would say containing herein 5.6 more or less acres. So I can say capitalize containing here in 5.47 more or less acres. Okay, so click on that and there's our legal description for this. The other thing that I can get off of the property appraiser's website is the parcel ID number. So I'm going to control copy that and I'm going to bring it back. Since I'm already kind of working on the cover sheet, I can update this parcel ID down here. So I'm going to double click on my text. Oops, double click here. And I'm going to control paste the parcel ID here. Okay. The other thing we can go ahead and modify is how many lots we have. If you look at our prospector, if you look at the parcels that we have, I had to delete a couple lots. So we technically only have, so there's 21, 22, 23, 20, well, technically we only have 21 single family lots. So I'll go back to my cover and I'll say we have, double click here, we have, in this example, we have 21 lots, 21 single family lots, delete that. And we're going to change plan date here to July, whoops, capital letters, July, I'm going to say 21st, so tomorrow, 2016. Our total area was 5.47. So the soils on our site were Tavares sand. The rest of this information is going to be fine. We don't have any wetlands, so we would, as we're reading through these, our traffic count was going to be based on 21 lots. So we would take 21, let me get my calculator out. So we're going to take 21 times 9.55 trips per day. So this is basically so we can figure out how this information allows us to determine what size road we're going. It's going to be in the flood zone panel. That's fine, because the project area that we're working in, the project next to us, should be similar. But we'd have to double check that. We have the subdivision, and we have no outlets for this unless when you do your project you decide to go to the north. We've already changed our tax parcel ID, so I'm going to take that out. Oops. So 27, and everything else should be, and this should be on-site conditions. Everything else should be as is. All right. So we've got our table set because we're using an R1 zoning, and this is taken from the site requirements. So we've updated this data. We've updated our legal description. Go back to my site plan. Now here's the only thing on the site plan. I'm going to move this viewport up a little, and I'll have to expand the viewport down to be able to see the description. All right, so this is our project. So we would also have on our site, we would have information. When we go to plat this, it would have information describing lots 1 through 21, our single family residential homes, lot 29, or tract 24 and 28, which is up here. You can't see it. So I'll pull this out of the way. Let me turn my let me pull this here. So the road was split here into a second tract. So 25 or 24 and 28, I can revise those numbers and say tract 1 and 2. Those are going to be tract for dedicated to the HOA for maintenance, and they would be labeled out. So technically you'd have to label each one of these. The other things is you can say, all right, if I want to create one of these lots, I'm going to change this into, instead of single family 21, I'm going to change that. I right clicked on the properties. I'm going to change that to maybe open space, apply and OK. So the pond is open space, and so is this lot 21. So I'm going to change, instead of parcel ID, I'm going to say the parcel name is open space. Or I can say, you know, change something into, instead of parcel name and area. It's a bit big for the park area. So one would be a pond area, one would be a park area, depending on the size. So we said the park needs to be maybe 5% of the entire project area. And that 5% would be based off of the development order that was completed when this project would be permitted. So I'm going to say 5% of 5.47 acres is 0.27 acres. So if I need 0.27 acres, I'm going to go ahead and delete that line and create these two areas to be my open space or my park area. And I could go ahead and delete that line and say, okay, this entire area is going to be passive recreation area to include the pond. So some development orders, which is what you get when you permit through an agency, whether it be county or city, that says you have to build this plan with these standards in place. In addition, you have to give us so much open space on the project area. But those are all dictated by the counties and the city agencies when you permit the project. And that's set up at the very beginning. And you'll see that in your zoning. So we're coming back full circle to the beginning of the semester on how our layout has to be created. So I went ahead and made my whole open space down here. So if you're doing your own project, you might be putting it somewhere else. The other thing that isn't really on in the site plan, and I should have froze this off earlier, so I'm going to double click on the inside of here, and I'm going to go to the home, and I'm going to freeze off the proposed contours. So typically we don't have proposed and we don't have existing contours. We just have a site plan. And I'm also going to get rid of that basic one because that's my overall description. It doesn't freeze off anything out here, but it does clean up our plan a bit. The other thing is some plans don't have the utilities on. Ooh, and this line right here is, if you've been going through the videos with me, is the 3D polyline that I created for my storm. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that off also. So my plan's beginning to look pretty good on overall. The other thing that you'll see on the site plans are your concrete monuments or your iron pins for your legal description, so somebody can find those. And I'm missing one up here, but at this point in time I'm not going to go back and start cleaning everything up. Just recognize that this would be required to be visual in, or typically it's required to be visual in your site plan or your geometry plan. So you can clean these up as you go. And for example, you can say, okay, see how this looks? You can actually come in here and modify the labels, but I'm done with the CAD cleanup. Now I'm more interested in making sure y'all understand what's required on a set of plans. All right, so that's it for this video. We've got our site plan kind of formally wrapping that up, and we've got our cover sheet cleaned up. So now we've got our those two sheets, and we'll look at the grading plan and the plan of profiles next. That's it for this video.